Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and this is my part 2 and final review of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yes, the last 3 episodes. And these were some pretty good ones. So, we're of course starting off with part 4. Again, because literally that's all that it is with the titles of these episodes. Parts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so that's fine. Story. Obi-Wan Kenobi plots a daring mission into enemy territory. So this episode, was pretty good, because this fall, of course, season 1 is, of course, one, main story, basically. And so, because, after the events of episode 3, we got Darth Vader, and, at one point, the third sister captures Leia Organa, and basically Obi-Wan and Tala, they have to, they go in and break into a, Empire base, basically, out in water, and to save Leia. And especially at one point, I like this, that even at one point, early in the episode, Obi-Wan was put into a Bacta tank, because we were going back and forth between that and Anakin, I guess, because they can sense each other's presence. And speaking of which, because more on that, because Obi-Wan being in water and such, Obi-Wan, because at one point he's swimming, underwater and, right at the Imperial base, and I like how he's got that device in his mouth, just like what he used in episodes 1 and 3. It's like a small, oxygen device or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. That's so cool we get to see that again. And especially because Obi-Wan uses it. He used it in episode 1, but Qui-Gon as well. They were swimming underwater getting to the Gungan city. And Tala, because like in the last episode, she was in disguise as an Imperial officer, and she does that once again. She's almost about to get caught, and actually she does, later on in the episode. And also, because Obi-Wan, he breaks in, he gets inside, and at one point, he stumbles upon this chamber of I suppose that are Jedi that were already dead, but they're being kept in these tanks, or whatever they're called. I can't remember. But one of them supposedly could be, people are saying that it could be the youngling that, said to Anakin, "Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?" Some people say that it could be him. Maybe. The youngling almost looks like the youngling, And the one Jedi who we've seen before in the Clone Wars, and I need to remember his name. Jump cut. Okay, so I had to quickly look it up. It's Tara Sanoob, that's his name, who first appeared in the Clone Wars in, Season 2, Lightsaber Lost, where Ahsoka, her lightsaber got stolen, and she gets help from, a Grand Jedi Master, Tara Sanoob. And so he had appeared in that, and he would appear a couple of other times in the Clone Wars. And that's when we apparently find out what happened to him after Order 66, because apparently, I guess, the Empire got him, and he's now in a tank, basically. The episode never, explains or describes, with these Jedi, maybe they're dead, or they're just being held hostage. I don't know, because they're frozen, and stuff like that. I don't know. But anyways, and at one point, because, Obi-Wan and Tala and, Leia, they almost don't make it out. And I almost forgot to mention that earlier in the episode, Obi-Wan meets with other, survivors, that are alongside with Tala. We get Roken, played by Oshie Jackson Jr., yeah, I said his full name right. And Sully, played by Maya Erskine. I think I said the last name right. They're with Tala, and eventually, when it seems like, Obi-Wan, Tala, and Leia, they don't make it out, a couple of them are in snow speeders, basically. You know, the ones that are in Empire Strikes Back. We get to see them again, and this time, you know, they're, you know, because we see them not on a snowy planet, but, you know, you get my points, you know. One of them doesn't make it, unfortunately. And, yeah, at one point, Darth Vader is totally pissed at Reva, and he unleashes his anger on her, like, holding her by the Force, up in the air, and, kind of choking her and just, like, scolding her, basically. For her to piss off Vader, like, wow, that's something. But that's when Reva confirms to Vader that, with Leia's droid Lola, she used Lola as, a tracking device, put something in Lola, to track where they're going, their location, etc. And it works, and that's when, in part 5, things get really good in this one. Literally, the opening to episode 5 literally opens with, because there's a lot of this, once in a while in the episode, we'll get a flashback sequence. We get a flashback sequence of Obi-Wan and Anakin. Hayden Christensen is back as Anakin. And obviously, this is supposed to be this is supposed to be Anakin, the way he looks, like, during, like, say, between Attack of the Clones and Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith, you name it. Well, he's got the hairstyle and, the hairpiece, whatever it's called, the braid, from Attack of the Clones. So it's obviously, probably it's after the events of the Clone Wars, obviously, and maybe maybe right before the Clone Wars movie, I want to say. I'd probably say so. And I don't care if, that Hayden Christensen, he wasn't de-aged in this episode. And for me, personally, I didn't mind, I didn't care. It was just great seeing him again. It didn't matter if he was de-aged or not. I actually remember watching a reaction channel that I follow. Like, one of the reactors said that that he felt that that was like the right age for Anakin. Like, it's a bit difficult to explain, but I'm with him on that. Seems like the appropriate age for Anakin. Like, again, that difficult to explain. Maybe you might understand what I'm saying. But anyway, so sometimes during the episode we would cut to flashbacks of Anakin and Obi-Wan, and they're having a lightsaber duel, and Obi-Wan teaching Anakin, and and when it comes to fighting, you name it. And that's when, because Vader and Reva, because Reva does become Grand Inquisitor. And they go after Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Obi-Wan is all that Vader needs is just Obi-Wan. Like, he doesn't care about the others, and nor say Leia yet, what else? Oh yeah, because it's a lot of emotional stuff to this episode, I should say. And even at one point, Leia is trying to do something, like plug back in like a red cord or something, so the doors can open, and for them to escape in an escaped shuttle, in their cargo ship, basically. Maybe not a cargo ship, but that's what I'm going for. Even at one point, Obi-Wan gets contacted, receives a message for Bail Organa. And then at one point, of course, the Empire does arrive. Obi-Wan comes up to the closed door, and so does Reva. They have a little conversation, and it turns out that Reva, and I knew this, Reva was one of the Jedi younglings, the Padawans, that was there, during Order 66. And what we saw in Episode 1, during Order 66, she was one of them. And she remembers seeing Anakin, now Darth Vader, killing and attacking the younglings. And, even her coming face to face with him, and seems that Anakin was about to kill Reva. So, and, another thing is that, I was a bit disappointed because, well, they're all fighting against the stormtroopers, and Tala, it's sad because she dies. She sacrifices she sacrifices herself to save Obi-Wan, and her droid that was alongside with her, because of course the droid doesn't make it, and she uses a thermal detonator, and, Obi-Wan can't reach T'Challa, and, she says to him, "May the Force be with you." She activates it, and, killing most of the stormtroopers, including herself, and it was heartbreaking too, because, well, Leia wondering where Tala was too, and, even at one point, because Leia fixed Lola, like took off the device that made Lola kind of a bad droid, because, Lola became a tracking droid to track them down. Vader, he goes in and he thinks that he's, using the Force to pull down the escaped, everybody that's in the shuttle escaping, but that was a decoy. It's interesting. I just wonder how they did that. How did Obi-Wan and the others manage to pull that off? Use another ship as a decoy? Well, figure out the math and so on. And at one point, of course, Vader stabs Reva as, Vader, I think how he says it is this, it was wise, for Obi-Wan, to use you as bait or, against me, etc. And there's a cool, lightsaber fight. Reva can't defeat Vader. Nobody can stand a chance against Vader. And Vader, snatching, part of the Inquisitor's lightsaber, and using it, and, again, from a flashback to now, Vader stabbing Reva, and the Grand Inquisitor shows up. He's not dead, and even I knew that he wouldn't be dead, because we know that he's in Rebels, and we know that he dies in the last episode of Season 1. So probably, yeah, the Grand Inquisitor kind of faked his death or something, They don't explain it, but, we don't, I don't care, and I don't think anybody else does. And Reva is just left there to die, although she does survive, and Obi-Wan accidentally left, the communication device, and where Bail Organa sent a message to Obi-Wan, and because Bail Organa mentioned Luke, and that's when Reva, it's her chance to go to Tatooine and do something evil and basically killing Luke. And that's where the episode ends. Well, and in fact, because when they're escaping, they can't go into hyperspace, and with the Empire following them, that's when, during that, Obi-Wan senses that something is wrong, and Luke is in danger. And, that's when, in the final episode, Part 6, things get good. Once again, things get good. Obi-Wan, says goodbye to Leia, for now, and he goes to, I forget the name of this planet, but that's where he fights off against Vader, and, it seems that, Obi-Wan has lost to Vader. Vader basically has just, beaten Obi-Wan to the ground, and, has buried him with rocks on top of Obi-Wan, but Obi-Wan fights back at Vader, and, Obi-Wan just unleashes, the Force really comes back to him, and that epic shot where all the rocks are levitating, and he throws them at Vader, and at one point, Obi-Wan just uses his lightsaber and cutting half of his mask, and we see Vader, the burned-faced Anakin and Hayden Christensen, and, the way that Vader talks, from Hayden and a little bit to, Vader's voice box, James Earl Jones, it's amazing, and it's very emotional. Obi-Wan, just breaks down and says, I'm sorry, Anakin, and, Vader's like, Anakin is gone, and, Vader tells Obi-Wan that, that he didn't fail Anakin. Vader killed Anakin, and that's basically kind of true, because when Palpatine seduced Anakin, that's when Vader came in. Anakin was blind, and, Anakin went from himself to being possessed by Darth Vader. You get my point, And I just love it because when Obi-Wan, the last thing he says to Vader, goodbye, Darth. He now calls him Darth. And that ties into what would happen in A New Hope. Obi-Wan calling him Darth, only a master of evil, Darth. You can't win, Darth. That's so good. I love that. Good job. Good job. Uh, and, you know, because after Obi-Wan is leaving, Vader just shouts, Obi-Wan! That was pretty cool. Like, that was the moment where, you know, a rare thing for Vader to be shouting, basically, really shouting. And Obi-Wan, he goes to Tatooine to, you know, to rescue and save Luke while, you know, Owen and Beru, they're facing off against Reva. They fail, and, you know, Luke, he escapes. Reva is on his tail, and, you know, Luke is climbing at some point, but then Reva uses the Force to pull him down. Luke is unconscious. Reva is almost about to kill Luke, but she's basically visioning seeing herself as a youngling, and she just can't do it anymore. She's redeemed at that moment. Yeah. And that's when, yeah, because Obi-Wan was going to find Luke, but Reva came back with Luke in her arms, and a moment between Reva and Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan telling her that, you know, you redeemed yourself, etc., you know, you chose the path, and you chose to redeem yourself, that kind of stuff. And that's the last we see of Reva. Like, well, what's going to happen with her now? I don't know. We'll find out, hopefully, soon. And then, like, say, you know, the epilogue. Well, first off, one scene is we're back at Vader's castle, and Vader, you know, having a conversation with none other than Emperor Palpatine. Ian McDiarmid reprises the role of Palpatine, making a cameo as, you know, Emperor Palpatine. It's great seeing him back as Palpatine, yeah. See, and I kind of figured, well, actually, no, I'll save that. What I'm about to say, I'll save that for later, because another cameo coming up, you know. Also, Obi-Wan visits Leia, you know, one last time, supposedly, like, you know, and if there will be a season 2, you know, more on, you know, hopes for a season 2, you know, in a couple minutes, you know, in this review. So anyways, Obi-Wan visits Leia on Alderaan, and actually earlier in the episode, Leia gave Obi-Wan Lola, but then when he visits Leia, you know, he gives Lola back to Leia, so, you know. I forget what the purpose was of, like, why did Leia give Lola to Obi-Wan? I'm sure there was a reason, but I can't remember. But it was nice, you know, for, you know, Obi-Wan visiting Leia, and, you know, sweet, and, you know, you know, to them hugging, etc., and, you know, for Bail Organa and his wife appearing again, one more time, and, yeah, that was a good scene right there. And after that, Obi-Wan visiting the farm once again, and Owen, you know, letting Obi-Wan say hi to Luke, and the first thing he says to Luke, hello there. And I remember when my mom and I were watching that, she pointed out that, you know, that the way that Ewan McGregor said it was spot on. Even say how he said it in Revenge of the Sith. I think we all knew that was going to come at some point. Obi-Wan saying, hello there. And then the last scene, one last scene before the episode ends, Obi-Wan sees Qui-Gon Jinn. Liam Neeson, after so long, finally reprises the role of Qui-Gon Jinn on screen. He still looks amazing as Qui-Gon Jinn. And we need more of Liam Neeson on screen as Qui-Gon. We do, especially because with Obi-Wan. And yeah, I'm sorry, not Obi-Wan. Qui-Gon now appearing as a Force ghost finally. Basically, because according to Revenge of the Sith and the Clone Wars, you know, Qui-Gon's training was incomplete, basically. You know, actually appearing as a Force ghost, basically. But at some point, his training was complete, and now appearing as a Force ghost, etc. And good for Qui-Gon. And, you know, Qui-Gon, you know, like the last, like, it's kind of nice. Qui-Gon basically gets the last lines, and, you know, come on, we still have a lot more way to go, you know, however he said it. Yeah, it ends pretty nicely, I will say. And we need a season 2. I know that a lot of us want a season 2, and especially Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. They have come out and confirmed that they are up for doing another season. And yeah, and and my dad was telling me this, that I think the writers of Obi-Wan Kenobi have been waiting to hear from the fans if they want more and if they want another season. And, well, I think I think so far everybody has been saying they want another season. Well, and so has, the two stars, Ewan and Hayden. They want to do this again, and that's good to hear from them. But we'll just have to wait and see. I guarantee we'll probably get a season 2, very soon, and maybe later on hopefully we'll get some information, and it might be announced that, there will be a season 2. We'll just have to wait and see. But in closing, Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 was great. And, oh yeah, because the cameos we get were really great. Because, it was nice seeing Ian McDiarmid and Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn, and especially for the last episode. And I was thinking that even before Obi-Wan Kenobi began, I was thinking that, you know what? We might get appearances of, say, Qui-Gon Jinn and Palpatine, and, some people say that, I think if I recall, some people were saying that they wanted Darth Maul to appear, thinking if he would appear, but nah. And I think it was I think it was best for Maul not appearing. So, besides, look at Star Wars Rebels and Solo, and Crimson Dawn, etc. Even when Hayden Christensen was announced to appear as Darth Vader, I knew that James Earl Jones would also be voicing Vader, and why wouldn't he? It wouldn't be Vader without the voice of James Earl Jones. So, yeah. So the last 3 episodes, they were really good, definitely. And I think especially the episodes 5 and 6, the last 2, I think, were some of the best ones for sure. And what about you guys? What did you think of Season 1 of Obi-Wan Kenobi? And are you up for a Season 2, like me and everybody else? Leave comments as always, and give this review a like as always. I'm giving this show a 10 out of 10 for sure. And fingers crossed, if we're going to get a Season 2, we'll just have to wait and see. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 1. More reviews coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward. And until, there's hope for a Season 2, I'll see you guys in the next video/review. Take care, peace out, and may the Force be with you.